Hurricane season is almost here!
Are you prepared to weather the storm?
What?
We are talking flood.
Hello, my name is Barry Horvath, and this is Moving Forward TV, your local market update.
This is the eye of the storm. We can bring it down a little bit.
Oh.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thanks for joining us. On today's show, we are talking about hurricanes and flood insurance, and we have a special guest coming right up.
Today we have the lovely Denise O'Brien from Holiday Whitco Insurance. She is going to talk to us about flood insurance.
So much in the news about flood insurance lately, and everything that happened last year, or actually I guess it started in 2012,
Right.
with the whole Bigot Water thing, up to what's happening today.
So now that the storm has passed, well, actually we're in the eye of the storm right now.
We're in the
that you
eye.
guys saw.
Talk fast.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of time and we got a lot to cover. So Denise, welcome.
First question, how long do eyes last? No, I'm kidding.
He's got to talk faster.
I know. But thanks for joining us today and
Thank you for
taking
having
time
me.
out of your busy schedule. I'm sure this flood thing has you overwhelmed right now. And
Yes.
probably every other call is what's going to happen to my flood insurance? And
Yeah, I
how much
know.
am I going to pay next year? And am I going to be able to renew? I mean, there's so many things going on. But I just want to know, who are Bigot and Waters? And why would somebody named
Why
Waters...
did they interrupt our lives?
Yeah, and why would somebody named Waters get involved in flood insurance?
I know. Go
Did
figure.
they change their name just so they could bring out this bill? And what's up with that? Who are they and what is that all about?
It makes you wonder. I call it the Muddy Waters Act.
The Muddy
There you go,
Waters
even
Act.
better.
Yes, even better. It kind of left people in a quandary. It raised the rates on the flood insurance. The people that purchased a home after July 1st, 2012, when they got their renewal in 2013, starting October 2013, they were devastated. The flood insurance premiums went from $1,200 to $8,000 to $9,000.
Wow.
That's when the
Yes.
wind hit the fan.
Wow, the wind hit
The
the fan?
wind.
Did you say that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
This is a family show, so...
That's right.
That's right. We have to keep it clean. So that's why last year everybody was freaking out. So although the act was passed in 2012, and that's how you look it up online and everything, but it didn't really go into effect until it started hitting the fan last fall. And I heard there's some horrible horror stories out there where people were paying $1,000 and it went to $10,000 a
Yes.
year. Did they have to actually pay those?
Some of the mortgage companies required them to pay it, yes.
Ouch.
And they were devastated. There's ways that people got help. They lowered their premiums by getting an elevation certificate, and we'll touch on that,
Okay.
and raising their deductibles, and they checked with their mortgage company to see if they would cover just the mortgage portion of it.
So real quick, backing up just 1 second, why did all of this have to change? What happened?
The storms we've had recently, Katrina, Superstorm Sandy, it devastated FEMA and basically bankrupted them.
FEMA, who is?
The
so
federal
everybody
government.
knows. And they're the
Our
ones who
government's
do all
broke?
of the...
This is new information, folks.
Newsflash,
Uh-oh.
the government's broke. Go figure.
Show's over.
That's because they're
Government's
paying
broke.
everything to the CFPB.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's a different
Wait,
show.
don't they subsidize our show? So we're in trouble, aren't we?
You're
All right,
watching
so
them.
with all of the storms that happened, basically FEMA's out of money.
Right.
So they had to make some changes going forward, and they pretty much socked it to people.
Right.
So wait.
We're paraphrasing here.
So let me get this straight. Basically, you're saying people weren't paying enough before, but so now we've gone the other way. Now they're going to pay too much.
Correct.
So we're going to overfund this so that, yeah.
Okay, now some of the things that people, you had said that they could do, well, and actually before we even get to the whole elevation certificate and everything, which I do want to know about.
Excuse me. There's a hair on you. It's bugging me.
Anyway, the flood zones. A lot of our audience is realtors, a lot of our audience is home buyers, and they're not exactly sure what zone should they be looking for, what are the good zones, what are the bad zones, that kind of thing. Can you just kind of run that down for us and what all of that means?
Well, we're in Florida.
Yes.
And we're on a peninsula, so most of Florida is in a flood zone. You have your preferred flood zones, which means there's a chance of it flooding 100 to 500 years. And those flood zones are the X is an X-ray, C is in cat, and B is in
Wait, where's
boy,
it this way?
Okay.
or Barry. B is in Barry.
Bees and Barry.
That's me.
The B zone. And those are the
So
ones
we want to
where...
be, wait, we want to be in the B zone, right?
Right. Or X.
That's all you need to hear.
X, B, or C
Right.
are the better zones.
Are the better zones. Preferred flood zones.
Okay.
Which means that they're not going to be paying as much flood insurance, or possibly no flood insurance at all will be
Correct.
required.
Mortgages do not require flood insurance in those zones.
And they
Okay.
can they go online somewhere and find this information, like on the government websites? Is there like,
They can go to FEMA, but your best bet is to call your local agent, have them run a flood zone determination.
okay,
Okay.
all right.
That comes directly through FEMA. They have it mapped,
Okay.
and you can get your flood zone and what your base flood elevation is.
And anyone can get on and do that? You don't have to be a licensed agent to run that?
You have to for a flood zone determination.
Okay, so get a hold of an
Yes.
insurance person to have that run that for you. Okay, so that leaves us with which zones are the zones?
Wait,
A,
Or the deep waters.
the deep waters.
Yeah. A in any AE or A in a number is close to a river, close to low-lying flood zones that are prone to flood. That
Okay.
is required flood. And the worst flood zone is the V, is in velocity.
Okay.
V. Not victory, velocity.
YMCA, oh, VA.
V.
YMVA.
And those people are the ones who are paying the highest right now, right?
Correct, correct.
Because they're like front line?
Front line,
Wow.
coast front, or like one canal in. The high waves push the water in at a high velocity and will do more damage than in the A zones.
So
where-
this is crazy because, you know, people going from 1,000 to 8,000, 9,000 premium, they can't afford that new premium.
Right.
Boom, next thing you know, their house is for sale. Next thing
I
you
know.
know, you go through these waterfront communities and there's for sale signs everywhere, which
Yes.
we're seeing now because people are panicking, not knowing what's going to happen in this whole reform. So what does that do to our market?
I was just gonna
that
say,
can be crippling to the real estate
Did you
industry.
notice a big difference?
Yes.
Like your phone probably rang off the hook last
Yes,
fall.
last October, the
people
phone
are
started
afraid.
ringing. And we did, I researched it, found a company that is a private flood insurance company.
Okay.
Through
so they're
Lloyd's of
not funded by
London.
our government who is broke.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
So that sounds safer to me. I want to go with them.
Lloyd's of
And
London.
Lloyd's of London
Okay.
is the oldest insurer in the world. You
Okay.
know,
And
and
they're
they've
doing
never
private.
gone bankrupt, and they're for a profit, and they're still making a profit. And their rates are, one of my clients in Seaforest, they got the $8,000 increase, and we brought theirs back down to $1,800.
Wow. So
Nice.
that's a
So-
huge, huge difference.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, all right, so we can save money by changing deductibles, and you mentioned an elevation certificate.
Yes. An
Okay.
elevation
Can
certificate.
what is that?
A surveyor comes out.
Because I
and-
work for the government and I'm not very smart, so help me out here. Sorry, government employees, I'm just kidding. You guys are brilliant.
Wait, it's time for lunch.
No, we're already on lunch.
Oh, okay.
But we need a coffee and a donut first, but
That's right. We need the coffee. You got the coffee.
I do. Anyway, go ahead.
The
I'm
elevation
sorry, I didn't-
certificates, a surveyor comes out and knows your base flood elevation. And they do the survey to tell us the base flood of the garage, any equipment you have, the elevators, your air conditioner, your appliances, any permanently attached equipment outside, hot water heater. Then the next level, the bottom of the first floor. And if you have no equipment and you're in an A zone, you can rate at the bottom of the first floor. I had a client who was
As
paying.
opposed to the garage floor.
As opposed to the
Otherwise,
garage
which
floor.
is going to
I
be more
see.
expensive,
Right,
right? Than,
right.
okay.
Right. And when we read elevation certificates with the flood zone determination, and we go in and do the quote, they'll tell us what floor to rate at, if you're in an A zone.
Okay.
B is a totally different one. You have to be flood compliant. If your bottom of your top floor is above the base flood elevation, then you get a break on the premium. I had a house on the river. They were paying $1,200. And I knew the area. I said, well, you kind of sit higher, get an elevation certificate, and their flood is now $400 to $500.
Wow.
Significant
Huge savings.
difference.
So it really could pay to spend that $150, $250 to get with a surveyor to get that done to save on
Right.
that premium. And of
Or it
course-
could hurt you.
Oh, so shh, don't say, yes.
So
if
if
it's
they
bad,
get
you
that,
don't
just
turn it in?
we don't give that.
Yes. But now FEMA, if any A flood zone or V flood zone has to be rated with an elevation certificate.
Okay, it has to be.
These are people that bought before July 1st, 2012.
All right, okay. So what's going on now? Isn't there some mapping changes?
I was
in
just going to say
play?
that.
Isn't
I hear that they're talking a lot about something called remapping.
Is that going to be good for consumers or bad for consumers?
Yeah.
Or can you say it depends and pretend you're a government employee? Oh, yeah.
Well-
Just avoid the question. I'm ready. Go ahead.
And it really does depend.
Okay.
You know, it
All right,
could
thanks.
help
That's
you
our
or hurt
show.
you. It could help or hurt you. You know,
Okay.
the people that were, you know, in a low-lying area like a AE zone, they may be taken out to an X zone.
Okay.
So it just depends. You never know.
So this
Which
map,
would help them,
It-
the
it could.
remapping, and then they could drop their flood insurance potentially?
They could.
If it gets
They could.
remapped?
Did you see that?
could.
Her
I
lips
know,
moved.
it-
Did you see her lips move when she said
But,
it?
I was just going to say, but you don't recommend it, right?
Right, because if they come back and they remap and you purchased a flood policy when you were in an X zone, which is a preferred zone,
And you're paying $300 or $400 a year.
right? If they remap and put you in an A zone, then you're grandfathered in at the X zone at the lower premium.
As long as you have that insurance in
Right.
place.
I
But if
see.
you cancel your insurance, you'll have to buy it at
Correct.
the increased rate.
Yes.
So I
they
think
should
it's very important then for
keep it,
people to know.
get it and keep it.
Yeah, don't let your policy lapse. That's probably
Especially
a
if
huge
you're,
thing.
some of these areas in, you know, in our area, like you said, all of Florida practically is in a flood zone. So some of them, you never know, the remapping could really affect, like what it
Correct.
did over there in Trinity.
Yes, and that will hit Trinity. So the people, the next day after Tropical Storm Debbie, they call me up, I want that flood policy now. The water came up to my front door.
Wow. Wow.
So now they'll be grandfathered in at the X zone.
So basically, they were flooded out. They had no TV, so they couldn't watch the Final Four. March Madness was over as we
I
know
knew he was
it,
gonna get this
you
in
know,
somewhere.
And it was opening day for baseball.
I know,
What did they
all this
do?
fun
How
stuff.
could they handle it? We can't have a flood for a while. Let's get through the season, and then we don't want a flood ever, do we?
No, but anyway, so anyway, that brings us up to today. So real quick.
Did you just ignore everything I said?
The sports stuff,
March
you know.
Madness.
the
Go
sports
Gators.
stuff. Go Gators, she says. Bringing us up to today with what's going on. We all heard that the Senate passed the new flood thing, the House passed it and the President signed it, but yet we haven't seen a whole lot of anything yet. Kind of what's going on with that and what good is coming out of that?
Okay, to kind of relate it so that you understood.
Yes.
Biggert Waters went into effect July 1st, 2012. The effects did not take place until October 2013. It took FEMA that long to figure out, you know, the price change and everything.
FEMA meaning the government.
Right.
It took a while.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
it
to
took-
deal with them too.
Yes, they had to deal with them. It took them over a year.
They don't do anything fast.
Right, no, even though they fast track it.
Yeah.
It took them that long to figure it out. And they did not complete the affordable feasibility study to realize that we were hit. Florida has more coastline than any other state in the United States. So we got hit the hardest. And now the changes, they came back and they're doing the feasibility studies, see if it's affordable, and it's not. So it's going to take at least a year for FEMA to come back with these
So
changes.
we basically kind of have a year's
Yes.
reprieve, so to speak,
So we got-
while they figure out that. Go figure. While the government figures out how to do this.
Yeah, we got a while. We got a while. So let's summarize this. Basically, I think if you're going out looking at a house right now, you probably want to, one of the things, get pre-qualified from your lender, obviously.
Right.
Get with your real estate professional, find the right property. But you better include an insurance agent
Right.
to find out what it's going to cost for insurance if you're in a flood area or not, because that can change your payments significantly. And a lot of people don't even think of that.
Right.
We need all these power partners together. So, you know, if they're going to get a house, they
Yep.
need, do it right.
Exactly.
You don't want to find out about that $9,000 flood insurance. Denise, thanks for joining us today and sharing all this powerful information about flood insurance.
Denise is a wealth of information when it comes to the flood insurance stuff, and her information, her link to her website is right down here below. Feel free to click on that. I'm sure you wouldn't mind answering some questions if people want to call you.
And thanks for having the two lovely ladies. I love to sit between them. I can't believe I get paid nothing for this.
This is a great show to get out there. If you're a realtor, get it out to some of your home buyers. And if you're a home buyer, by all means, look
Yes.
into this flood insurance
Share-
thing. And even if you don't have it, Denise recommends that you do get it anyway.
She does.
Yes.
Because she needs the money. Share us on Facebook, tweet us,
LinkedIn.
YouTube us, get us out to your family and friends. We could save them a fortune.
Thanks for watching We Are Today and Every Day.
Moving forward.
We will see everybody next week.